We live on the planet Earth. And in the words of the great Carl Sagan, on it, everyone you love, everyone you know, everyone you have ever heard of, every human being who has ever lived out their lives, the aggregate of our joy and suffering, thousands of confident religions, ideologies, and economic doctrines, every hunter, every forager, every hero, every coward, every creator and destroyer of civilization, every king and peasant, every young couple in love, every mother and father, hopeful child, inventor and explorer, every teacher of morals, and every corrupted politician, every supreme leader, every superstar, every saint and every sinner in the history of our species live there, on a mote of dust suspended in a sunbeam. This is where we live. Unfortunately, we also live in a world full of bad habits that are harming our home. The way we obtain our energy that powers our cars, homes, and basically runs the world around us isn't exactly obtained in the best way. Studies have shown that burning coal is the leading cause of smog, acid rain, global warming, and other air toxics. In an average year, a typical coal plant generates 3,700,000 tons of carbon dioxide, the primary cause of global warming, as much carbon dioxide as cutting down 161 million trees. 10,000 tons of sulfur dioxide, which cause acid rain that damage forests, lakes, and buildings. They also form small airborne particles that penetrate deep into the lungs. 170 pounds of mercury, or just 1/70th of a tablespoon of mercury deposited into a 25-acre lake, can make the fish unsafe to eat. Now, coal is one of the cheapest fossil fuels available to us, but one must ask themselves, are cheap electric bills really worth harming the world we live in? Here is a brief word about global warming, pollution, and how to prevent this entire issue by one of the greatest men in science, Carl Sagan. He explains what is causing, what effect it will have on our planet, and how to prevent it.
For our own world, the peril is more subtle. Since this series was first broadcast, the dangers of the increasing greenhouse effect have become much more clear. We burn fossil fuels like coal and gas and petroleum, putting more carbon dioxide into the atmosphere and thereby heating the Earth. The hellish conditions on Venus are a reminder that this is serious business. Computer models that successfully explain the climates of other planets predict the deaths of forests, parched croplands, the flooding of coastal cities, environmental refugees, widespread disasters in the next century, unless we change our ways. What do we have to do? 4 things. 1, much more efficient use of fossil fuels. Why not cars that get 70 miles a gallon instead of 25? 2, research and development on safe alternative energy sources, especially solar power. 3, reforestation on a grand scale. And 4, helping to bring the billion poorest people on the planet to self-sufficiency, which is the key step in curbing world population growth. Every one of these steps makes sense apart from greenhouse warming.
But fortunately enough, we have alternatives that could potentially lead us to a brighter, greener future. These alternatives can range from hybrid cars to nuclear fusion energy and to wind energy. Statistics show that we already get about 8 to 10% of our energy from the wind, so that's a start. Although wind energy may not be as cheap as coal or other harmful fossil fuels, it's worth the effort to save our planet. Just one of the biggest turbines generates enough electricity to supply about 600 US homes. The wind energy industry is also booming. Globally, generation more than quadrupled between 2000 and 2006. At the end of last year, global capacity was more than 70,000 megawatts generated by the wind. In the US, one single megawatt can power 250 homes. This energy is also nearly ideal because it does not produce any sort of pollution and is virtually free after the windmill is built. So in reality, the only thing that we need to do is have the effort to make the change. New hybrid cars make traveling much cheaper when it comes to gas, and safer for the environment too. For example, the new Toyota Prius, which is a hybrid car that gets about 50 miles to the gallon, releasing less emissions by balancing energy sources between gasoline and electricity. So in theory, it is possible to get between 400 to 500 miles on a full tank, which would be impossible on the traditional car. Although the Toyota Prius may be slightly more expensive than the average car, it is worth the price for the money that it saves and the pollution that it does not emit. So to conclude, it only seems logical that one would want the best for the health of themselves and the ones they love. Also, because it only makes sense to love our home. So why not have much less of this and enjoy a little more of this, the beautiful place we call Earth.